Abyssos is right around the corner, or it probably already released, but I want to take a look back at the previous tier of Asphodelos to shine a light on the animations of the different raids. As always, this will not be a raid guide, I just like to shine light on the animations and battle mechanics that sometimes are too small or subtle to notice during the heat of battle. I don't want to waste your time, so let's jump into the second circle of the Asphodelos tier. This fight is against the Hippocampus, a horse-like creature that is running rampant in the waterways. I wasn't paying attention to this story when I first went through, so I'd always assumed we were sneaking into the research center and stumbled upon the Hippocampus in the sewers. Eric, though, was seeking to save all of these creations by using interment magic, and had seen this creation while he was running out of the facility. Interment magic actually freezes the space around the target rather than just the bindings that Eric could wield. We see this magic being used at the end of the fight, and the magic circle is incredibly detailed. Red and blue chains wrap around the middle of the circle, and many bindings wrap around the target when the magic is cast. Anyways, this arena is really unique in its makeup, making for a pretty claustrophobic feeling battle during some of the mechanics. With the water wrapping around the area and the chains and cages seen in the water, I imagine this was a holding cell of some kind. The Hippocampus itself is a pretty terrifying looking creation with the tail of a scorpion and the body of a horse. The head floats above the body and is adorned with wings. The name Hippocampus is actually a Greek name meaning sea monster, a fitting name for this horse that has an affinity for water. Its name is also a nod to a part of the brain, as are some of the attack names. The hippocampus is a brain structure whose major function involves learning and memory, as well as spatial navigation, which again is pretty fitting for the arena that you have to navigate in this tier. Interestingly enough, the actual brain structure is divided into two parts, with the hippocampal sulcus, the folds of the brain, separating them. I got my bachelor's actually in experimental psychology, so I could talk all day about this, but let's move on. Let's look at some of these animations. The hippocampus's auto attack is a stomp with his hoof. This is also used in the shared tank buster, doubled impact, though a shockwave appears from this attack. The horse also spews forth water from his mouth during the buster. Murky Depths is the raid wide and is a pretty simple animation with the horse raising its head as water pushes outwards. The hippocampus hops to the center for spoken cataract. This splits the head from the body. The body does a line AoE through its body, summoning forth a tidal wave, while the head does a cleave in front. You can see its move head from side to side as it shoots out this water. In the Savage raid, there's a different version that can appear called Wing Cataract, that has a different animation accompanying it. The hippocampus flaps its wings forward to cast the attack. Sewage Deluge, or Suwage Deluge, is the stronger raid wide in this fight that pretty drastically changes the arena, hampering extra movement. In the Savage version, one of the platforms is overflowing with water as well, cutting off a safe spot. You can also see water spilling into the grates during this part of the fight. During this phase, the hippocampus casts Tainted Flood, targeting multiple people with an AoE. This is the same animation that the creation uses during its raid wides, though bubbles and streams of water can be seen circling around it during the cast. When the AoE resolves, a droplet of water splashes down on your character. During the second time that you are blocked out by water, the hippocampus will use Sewage Eruption. These are AoE attacks that spawn giant whirlpools. Predatory Sight is another attack used in this phase. This gives everyone a mark of easy prey. When it resolves, multiple bubbles explode around you. In the Savage raid, there's a similar mechanic called Predatory Avarice, where two people will be marked with Mark of the Tides, and another person will be marked with Mark of the Depths. The two with the Tides markers should be away from the party since a dome of water appears around them, blasting anyone too close into the wall. The rest of the party will stack up and have a gigantic water droplet fall on them, creating a giant puddle of water. Next up is Shockwave, which really is not something that needs to be explained. The hippocampus jumps onto one of the grates, knocking back everyone with a shockwave. Whoa! The first time this is used in Savage, it is paired with Ominous Bubbling, which targets both healers in the party. Dissociation is an attack where the head flies off from the body, landing on one side of the arena and charging up. The head will fly through the side of the arena with a wide cleaving attack, pushing up rubble from the charge. The head will also actually disintegrate at the end of this. You can also see the hippocampus regrowing its head while the other head gets ready to cleave. Coherence is the last mechanic seen in the normal version of the fight. This targets one of the tanks with a flare marker and another random player with a line stack marker. The head will lock onto the person with the flare marker and slam its head down on them, while another head begins to regenerate from the body. This is actually a really unique set of animations since the head that slams down on the flare marker disintegrates as it slams down, and the head shooting the beam stays connected to the body before it breaks free and returns to its normal floating position. The Savage raid also has some unique mechanics in its fight. The first mechanic is Channeling Flow. This cast gives you a Mark of the Tides with a certain direction tied to it. When the debuff resolves, you will propel towards the direction you are facing. You need to faceplant into someone going the opposite direction to survive. Campios Harma, hopefully I said that right, is the last unique mechanic in the Savage version. While it can be a bit difficult to first pull off, the actual animations are pretty simple. The head and body separate the slam to each player, with the square markers being targeted by the body for a dashing attack, and the triangle markers being targeted by the head for a ground pound. The fourth time the head ground pounds, it will disintegrate and the body will regrow another one. And that is really it for the second circle of Asphodelos. This arena and raid are definitely high up on the list for me. Figuring out how the limit cut attack worked and the increase in difficulty from the first circle got me really excited for the rest of the tier, but then it all changed when I went to Party Finder for the third circle. But that'll be for next time. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and check out my other breakdowns on Final Fantasy XIV or Kingdom Hearts. If you want to see me raid, I have a static going through the second tier right now on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so follow me on Twitch if you want to see me get turned into a Catboy pancake, because that'll happen a lot. See you in the next video.